Came from Argentina. I grew up in Argentina, third world country. If you look at what Argentina is today, highest inflated currency in the world, completely destroyed by socialism and corruption. So at the age of 16, with $200 in a suitcase, came to the United States, started pressure washing basketball courts. That was my first job. And then eventually through the years, was exposed to e-commerce, was exposed to making money online, and I capitalized on the opportunity.
Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Happy New Year everybody. I hope you make 2024 your year, guys. It's time to chase your dreams, chase your ambitions. But yeah, let's get into the tutorial. So for today's tutorial, I'm going to be basically showing you exactly how I edit. Now this is something a bit different. Now we are using a clip of Luke Belmar, which you would have seen a preview at the very beginning of the video. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. Let's not talk too much. I'm going to quickly give you guys a link to some free assets in the description. Let me just quickly pop up a video so I can show you guys how to get the free assets. So yeah, make sure you watch this. So guys, before we continue the rest of this video, I have a Discord server that you guys can join completely free. I have a lot of things in here, a lot of free lessons, I have a lot of free stuff. You guys can network with social media experts that literally gain millions of views each month, just on their own accounts and things like this. I also have free editing assets for you all, which is a huge folder which is getting updated almost daily at this point. So if you guys want the free assets as well, make sure you join the Discord. Feel free to message me inside the Discord, inside of this public chat right here, and feel free to also send your videos inside here so we can review your videos and give you feedback, all for free as well. But yeah, let's continue with the video, guys. Okay guys, so first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do something a bit different. So as you can see at the start, he's talking about Argentina and where he came from. So if we just play the very beginning of this video right here.
Came from Argentina. Came from Argentina.
So he came from Argentina, perfect. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get this first part of the clip. We're going to right click, and then we're going to come to copy right here. Then we're going to paste it in, just like so. And then what we're going to do, we're going to come to cut out on the pasted clip. Then we're going to come to auto cut out. And now what we're going to do, we're going to use a stroke for this. So this is a pro version. I mean, you can use a free version, like, you know, something like this. This will be good. And you can also change the color to blue. But just for this specific tutorial, I'm going to be using the pro version. Then I'm going to drag the size to 15 and the opacity to 15 also, just so it's like this. And then this is what we have anyway. So with the keyframes, I've already done it because I made this tutorial, but the files got corrupted, so I just kept the tutorials on this, the keyframes on this part. So as you can see, all it does is zoom in, and then right at the end with the keyframes, I've zoomed it in very fast, so it's like a transition into the next clip, or the next part of what he's talking about. So if we take a look at it, this is what we have so far.
Came from Argentina.
So as you can see,
came from Argentina. I grew up.
Perfect. So what we're going to do now, we're going to add this background, but we're going to add it right underneath here, so it's underneath this part. And then what we're going to do is we're going to full screen it, and just to make sure everything's fixed, we're going to put that to layer 1, so we have something like this. And now from here, what we're going to do is we're going to drag this preferably down to like here, something like this. And then if we come to the opacity and we put the opacity down to like 15, yep, something like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come to mask on this, we're going to come to horizontal, then we're going to flip it to this, so 180 degrees. Then we're going to come up, so here's the top of it, so we want to come down to like here. Then we want to put the opacity a bit more up to 60, yeah, something like this. And then as you can see, it is super smooth.
Came from Argentina. I grew up in.
So perfect. And then right from here is where we will just add the second part of this. So before we begin this part, we're just going to add the second part to the clip, which is right here.
Yeah.
And then right here is just to make this smooth. So as you can see, it zooms in, so we want this to quickly zoom out this video overlay right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to animation, then we are going to find zoom 1. There it is.
I grew up in.
And then we're going to put this to 0.3 maybe.
Tina. I grew up in
just
Argentina.
Like so.
I grew up.
Okay, so we're going to put it on 0.2 just because it's a little bit too fast. Perfect.
Tina. I grew up.
So it should look like this. And then right here, right just here where it splits, we're going to split this by holding Control and pressing B. And then right here, just on this second part that we split, we're going to get rid of the mask completely. We're going to drag this up, just full screen it, make sure it's completely full screen. Then we're going to come back to basic, and we're going to put the opacity, well, we're going to go down actually, put this to layer 2, and keep the opacity on 15. So this is what we will have so far. So if we take a look.
Came from.
So yeah, it's very, very, very neat. But for this, if you want, you can have this preferably behind the cutout. So if you want, you can put this to layer 1 so it looks like this. I think we'll do this. We'll actually extend it a bit as well, just like so. Bring it up a slight bit, just like here. And then if we take a look at it now,
Came from Argentina.
I think this looks a little bit better for sure. So yeah, so now we've got this. Let me also click all these, get rid of this. Alright, perfect.
Came from Argentina. I grew up in Argentina.
So yeah, this looks very, very clean to me. And now we're gonna begin. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use text. So if we come to the default text right here, and then we're gonna type in capital letters, Luke Belmars. We can type in, I don't know, something like, would we call it his journey? Just for this video, we can call it Luke Belmars. Yeah, journey, because this is like his upbringing journey. So now we've put journey in there. We're gonna select a font, which I'll probably use this font for the top one. I'll explain what I mean. So now we've got this, let's just quickly go to the shadow, opacity 100, blurriness I like to use anywhere from 5 to 15, but for this we're just going to use 10. And then what we're going to do is we're going to right click here, we're going to copy, and then we're going to paste it right here. And then on this bottom one, we select the bottom one again. We're going to get rid of the word journey, just like so. Keep this here so it stays underneath. Then we're going to come to the top that we pasted and get rid of Luke Belmar, keep the journey and keep the space at the top. So now we have this, as you guys can see. So
Came
right here,
came from Argentina.
so just before it says Argentina, like here, then we want it to start right there. Then we want to split these two right here where it transitions into the next clip.
Came from Argentina.
So it should look like this. Now what we're going to do with this is we're going to increase the size of the text, and then just to make things a bit more simple is, yeah, we're going to leave it just like that, so that looks very clean. Then we're going to come to this second text, then we're going to come to colour, which is the journey part. Then we're going to add like a yellow colour to this, just like so. And then we're also going to change the font of this, so maybe to something like this, and then we can obviously increase the size, just like so. Maybe just drag this a bit that way. Perfect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down to the glow, the free version of the glow, and then I'll come to intensity, add it to 25. The range, keep it anywhere from 35 to 40, and you should add a nice little glow to it if I full screen this. There you go. And then we need to add an animation on both. So if you come to the first one, come to animation right here, and then we will use this
Came from
so I believe it's called I'm not too sure what it's called, but just look for this.
Came from
So it looks like that. And then right here we're going to add the text on.
Came from
0.5.
Came from
And then on the journey we are going to add a slide up effect. So shout out to Joey Edits for this, because I've learned this from his recent tutorial. You guys should go check him out after this video.
From Argentina.
For sure, if you don't know who he is. Joey Edits on YouTube.
From Argentina.
But yeah, let's so now we've done this. As you can see, it just slides up like so.
Came from Argentina.
Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring this a bit back. So, and then we're going to reduce the slide up.
From Argentina.
Yeah, keep it on 0.3.
Came from Argentina.
So perfect, just like so.
Came from Argentina.
And now we have this Luke Belmar's journey. And now if you want, we can come to the first layer, which I'm actually going to do, and then I'm going to come to the glow. So this is a white glow, and then I'm going to do the exact same. So add this on 25 and add the range on like 38. Then this is what we have so far, the full screen.
Came from Argentina.
Just a nice little blur. And then on the animation out for this, we need to quickly do this. So we want a fade out just to keep it nice and clean, so we're not doing too much to it.
Argentina.
And then have a fade out on 0.2. Same on this bottom text as well.
Argentina.
On 0.2, just like so. So we have this right now.
Came from Argentina. I grew up.
Perfect. Okay, so now what we're going to do right here, so as soon as this comes in, we're going to add some overlays. So first we are going to add this right here, just like so.
From Argentina.
And let's just rotate it a little bit. Let's just increase the size, just like this. And then yes, so from here we are then going to split it right there, and we're going to do the exact same. Come to animation in, and then for the animation in we want it to slide up. So if we find the slide up animation
From Argentina.
and we're going to put it on
from
0.3 so it comes up the same with the journey. And then if we come to animation out, we do want it to fade out
Argentina.
on 0.2 as well. So this is what it looks like so far.
Came from Argentina.
Just like that, super clean, super easy. This will definitely hook some people in. But yeah,
Came from Argentina.
then let's get into the second part of the clip. So now what we're going to do is right here we're going to add a picture of Luke Belmar himself, the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend. So we want him to stand like right here. So if we full screen this so we can see, perfect, he is in front. So we're going to make him bigger, just like so. We're going to stand him right about here, and then we're going to also rotate him to like -2 or something, just so it looks a bit more cooler. And then what we're going to do, if we come to library right here, which everybody has this, we come to the black video, we add the black video in, we come to right click, and then we come to edit, and then we freeze this, and then we get rid of the video part, and then we've got the freeze part of it. Then we drag this to the start, and then what we do is we rotate this 180 degrees, full screen this, and then come to mask, and then we are going to use the horizontal one. Then we flip it again, and then we can bring it down something to like yeah, like here. And then from here we can just add the feather a little bit, just like so, like this. And then what we're going to do, we're going to come to basic, we're just going to full screen it a little bit more, just so it's like this, and then we're going to put it behind Luke Belmar's feet, just like this. Now what we can do is actually increase the size. So if we come back to mask, just build it up a little bit more, just like this. Perfect. So now we have something like this.
I grew up in.
So he's standing right here, which looks super clean. Then what we can do, just to make things look a little bit more cleaner, is bring this up. Oh, we need to go back. If you make any mistakes, you can just press the undo button or Control Z. But yeah, for this, if we come back to this video overlay, and we just need to drag it up a little bit, just like so. Yeah, perfect. So this is what it looks like.
I grew up in Argentina.
And now what we're going to do is we are going to actually come to Luke Belmar, come to animation, and then we're going to come animation in, and we want it to slide up. So if we find slide up, and then we put it on 0.4. Same with this one as well. We can add this slide up.
I grew up in.
On 0.4 as well, just like so. And this is what we have so far. So if this happens right here, what you can actually do is, so if you come to right here just before this image right here comes up, as well as Luke Belmar we'll come to here, right, we'll add a scale just in case, and a position, and then position, we'll drag it right to the bottom, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then just drag it up to there. So this is what you should have so far.
I grew up in Argentina.
As you can see, super.
I grew up in Argentina. I grew up.
Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to, because Luke Belmar kind of stops like right there, so we're just going to bring it back a little bit, and then we can have a look at how this looks now.
Tina, I grew up in Argentina.
Perfect. Now this looks much.
Tina, I grew up in Argentina.
Perfect.
Tina, I grew up in.
I grew up in Argentina. Now just before he says Argentina, we are going to add, come back to local, import, and then we are going to add an Argentina or Argentinian flag. So if I come to my downloads, which I'll have it on here somewhere, perfect, right here, come to CapCut, drag this in, and then we can add the flag right here. Now what we're going to do, we actually are going to increase this size, put it here, and then we're going to put it behind Luke, just like so. Now we may need to make this a bit smaller, this is a little bit too big. So we can have it just like this, and now what we're going to do with this, if we bring it just a little bit back, so one more keyframe type of thing back, then we come to animation in. Now we do want it to slide right, so if we take a look at this now,
In Argentina.
then we put this on 0.3. So this is what we have so far.
Came from Argentina. I grew up in Argentina.
Perfect, just like that.
I grew up in Argentina.
And then as soon as he says Argentina as well, I've gone and found this as well from Canva, by the way. So these assets are from Canva as well. And then we can put Argentina just like around about here. I think that'll look good. And then we can also slide this into the right.
In Argentina.
Just a little bit more.
In Argentina.
And then what we can do is actually bring it a bit, start it a bit.
Grew up in Argentina. Grew up in Argentina, third world country.
Now maybe just to make things to look a little bit better, because it doesn't look the best right now, is we actually are going to have this the same speed as this. So if we have a look at it now.
Grew up in Argentina. Third.
And then if we just zoom out a little bit. So
I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
Third world country.
If you look at what Argentina is today, country.
And then right here, just before I start speaking again, is we will split everything. So by holding Control B on everything, except this black background right here, which will just drag that out, and then we'll delete everything else just like this. Perfect.
In Argentina, third world country.
Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to add the keyframe. So right at the start, we're going to first do the loop Belmar keyframe, add a scale and add a position, and right at the end we are just going to increase it simply. Just increase it like so. So his shoulders come up to like here. Yeah, perfect. Now let's see how that looks.
I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
And then with the flag, what we can actually do with the flag is, in fact, we are actually going to rotate this to 1 degree.
I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
Perfect. Now that looks much better. And then from here,
I grew up in Argentina.
just to make things also run smoothly, is we are now going to add an effect. So if we come to effects, I do have this on favorites, but if you find the effect play pendulum, now we're going to add this to Luke, then twist 0, strength like 10, sharpen I like to use 40, and then speed something like 55. We'll have a look and see what that looks like.
Argentina. I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
Okay, so as you can see, the strength is a little bit too much. So if we click on this right here, bring the strength down to like 5, and then we can see how that looks.
I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
Now we need the speed a bit more, so if we just add the speed to like 85 for this one.
I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
Perfect, just like so.
I grew up in Argentina, third world country. I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
Perfect. And then right from here is, we'll just do another quick adjustment to this. We'll just add the strength to like 3 and the speed to 100.
I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
Perfect, now it looks much better. And then we're going to do the exact same for the Argentinian flag. So twist 0, strength 5, sharpen 40, and speed 100.
I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
Perfect.
I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
And then for the Argentina thing that I've got right here, the text, is we're going to add a scale and a position at the start, and then right at the end is we'll zoom it out, so come 1 keyframe before the end, and then just zoom it to like here, and then if we come to the first one, we'll just zoom this to like there. So if we take a look at it now.
From Argentina. I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
Perfect, just like so, just so everything is always moving, you know.
Argentina, third world country. If you look at what Argentina.
And then we're going to start, well, what you want to do actually, I forgot about this, is come to the end keyframe, and then you can just drag it out. Same with the Luke Belmar one, just like so.
Country. If you look at what
Perfect. And then right from here, you can also kind of do the same with the Argentinian flag as well, so we might as well just do that, just so it's all matched up. So scale and position at the very beginning, 1 keyframe before the end, and just increase the size a little bit, and then drag it out. So this is what we have.
In Argentina, third world country.
As you can see, looks very
I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
And then from here, we are going to add an animation on them all. So now once you've kind of done this, is you can kind of create a compound clip for some of these, but just for the sake of this video, because it can sometimes glitch out, is we're just going to quickly add an animation out on them all. So again, we're going to add a fade out. So if we add it on 0.2, fade out, 0.2, fade out, 0.2, fade out, 0.2, fade out, 0.2. So if I full screen this, guys, so you guys can see and keep up to date with everything I've added so far. But yeah, let me full screen this.
Came from Argentina. I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
So yeah, something like that. So what I'm going to do quickly as well is I'm going to come to Luke Belmar, right? I'm going to come to adjustments, then I'm going to come to saturation. I'm going to slightly decrease it to like -35 or something like that. Add the blue mosaic effect straight to Luke Belmar. Add the filters, bring it down maybe to like 10 or something. Then we're going to add the size to like 15. Then the texture to like 25. Now we can have a look and see how that looks. Yeah, that looks good enough to me.
I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
Perfect.
I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
And now what we can actually do is, for this, yeah, I think that looks very simple and clean. So Luke Belmar's journey. And then what we can do underneath the Argentinian bit right now, what we're going to do is we're going to type in
Argentina,
third world country. So right about here. So now if we come to text, and he's talking about third world country. Third world country. So just to then do this is we're going to full screen this. And now to make things cleaner, what we're actually going to do is we're going to delete this part, because I've got a good idea for you guys as well. So drag this up just so it's underneath. Select a font you like to use. Just for this one, we're going to use, let's try and, yeah, let's just use this one just for the sake of this video, so we're not spending too much time. And we're going to drag this side out a little bit. Oh, let me go one keyframe back. I'm going to drag this out slightly. It's kind of glitching out right now. Just give me a sec, guys. Hold on. Okay, perfect. In a sec. Okay.
World country.
That's kind of strange. Every time I come here, it just automatically opens out. Ah, perfect, perfect. Okay, so if we come back to the first keyframe, then if we come to size, we can just increase it slightly. Maybe 15 will do. Okay, so if we then come here and then we increase the scale by like 1, yeah, 1 will do. And then if we go to position, just bring it up slightly, just like so. And then if we come down to shadow again, make sure you add opacity on 100, blurriness on 10 again. And then we're going to add the white glow. Now what we're going to do with this text is add it yellow as well. So if we come to the glow right here, we actually add this to yellow. And then for the glow, just to make sure it's yellow, you can uncheck it and check it again, and then do the exact same thing. Add this to 25 and add this to 38. Right, he's talking about
Argentina, third world.
Third world, and then right here it will say country. So if we split it right here where it says country, and then this can be the country part, and then obviously you can increase this, and then you can bring the position down. Just like so. Just bring it down to like there, and then we can see how that looks.
Argentina, third world country. A third world country.
Now that does look a little bit too big, so what we're going to do is we're just going to decrease this down to like here.
Third world country.
Third world country. We can add this down a little bit more, just like so.
World country. Third world country.
Perfect. And then right here is we'll split that. And then we'll come to the end, we'll come to animation out, and then we'll have a fade
country.
out on 0.2 as well. So it all fades out.
Country.
And then we'll have an animation in on this, which will slide right. So if we find the slide right animation, I may have gone past it. Oh, that's the out animation. Let's go to in animation for this. I'm pretty sure slide right is near the top, although I could be wrong. Just give me a sec, guys. Slide right. There it is.
A third world. A third.
Yep, on 0.2. And then animation out if we slide to the right as well. If they do have this one, I believe they do, right? That slide down. Is there a slide right by any chance? Surely it's somewhere right. Slide right. Perfect.
Third world.
And then have this
World.
on 0.2 as well, and then this one we can have this animation in, slide right on the animation in as well. Slide right.
Country.
And then we can have this on 0.2 as well, and then this is what it will look like.
Argentina, third world country.
Perfect, perfect. Now let's full screen this for you guys.
Came from Argentina. I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
Now if it's a bit too fast, just like so, all you can do is you can just put this here, and then if we come to the animation out on this, we can just bring it to 0.1, just like so.
In Argentina, third world country.
And then let's full screen it.
Came from Argentina. I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
That'll do because it's very fast paced, and it usually looks very smooth when it's fast paced, and it's easier for a lot of people nowadays, to be honest. especially fast-paced content. People just love to see that as well. So yeah, what I'm going to quickly do is I'll be back in a second, guys. I mean, you'll see an instant split, so yeah, give me a sec. So if we come back to this video overlay really quickly, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to adjustments right here, and we're not going to mess around with the saturation. What we're going to do is we're going to bring the brightness down to -8, then we're going to bring the contrast up a little bit to like 8, and then for the highlights, you can kind of mess with the highlights if you wanted to. Now we're just going to bring this down actually. Usually it doesn't really matter with the highlights too much, but the shadow definitely matters. So if we bring the shadow down, we kind of want the background to be a little bit dark. If we add the sharpen up to like 10, and then we can add a vigilante as well, just to like 5 or something, maybe 8 as well. And then if we have this right now,
I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
as you can see, it's a little bit better. It definitely looks a little bit smoother for sure. So now if we take a look at it full screen one more time.
Came from Argentina. I grew up in Argentina, third world country.
It's just much more visible to see what's going on. Like you can see this clearly coming through. The background's not too bright anymore, and you can see the text perfectly. And obviously we have Luke there. Now what you can do, you can also add something over his eyes, but just to keep this simple, and it looks clean without it, so we're gonna not do that. So let's get into the next part anyway.
If you look at what Argentina is today, highest inflated currency in the world, completely destroyed by...
Okay, so now we're gonna have more of Luke talking. So
I grew up in Argentina, third world country. If you look at...
in fact, what we'll do is, if we look at Argentina,
If you look at what Argentina is today, highest inflated currency in the world, completely destroyed by socialism and corruption. At the age of 16, this...
okay, perfect. So for this next part, okay, so if we come to the scale part right here, and we add the scale and positioning. Now if we just slightly zoom in, so what we're going to do, we're going to play it to see where we can zoom in. Now what I'm thinking of doing is, if I zoom it in slightly to somewhere like round here, and then I slide it all the way to the left, and then I'll create something, so you guys will kind of see what I mean. So I am basing this off the top of my head and just going as I go along, you know, without any splits or anything. So yeah, let's go.
If you look at what Argentina...
So yeah, so something like here, we'll zoom it into there, just like so.
is today.
And then here, we can just bring that all the way to the left, like so. And then we'll see what we're working with here.
If you look at what Argentina is today,
And then I'm going to see if... let me see if we can do something right here. So if we come to show keyframes, I do believe if we come to right here, if we just add another scale one just to be safe and sure, I believe that one's a scale. So if we come to this one right here, and then if we just add a keyframe, a position, if we just like add the graphs, if we ease it in to perhaps this point, no, yeah, something like this, and then we take a look.
Today,
Something like this.
Argentina is today.
And then right here we can slow it down to this part. So we come back to graphs and then we
Today.
ease out, just like so. Now let's see how that looks.
Argentina is today.
Perfect. As you can see, that's much.
If you look at what Argentina is today.
Perfect. And then if we come off graphs by right clicking and then hide keyframe animation, now we have this little smooth effect right there. So
If you look at what Argentina is today, highest...
now, right from here is once it gets to this part, if we come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so like right in the center of these two, 5 keyframes before, and then I'm going to add in an overlay really quickly. Okay, so now we're going to add this in right here, just like so, and then if we just do this, so what's going to happen is this will fade in. So if we come to here, we come to opacity, add that to 0, and then as it's coming in, if we come to this keyframe right here, opacity 100, so we can see how that looks.
Argentina is today.
Okay, so what we actually want to do as well is we want it to slide to the right. So if we come to animation and slide to the right, just like so, and then what we can actually do is drag this out a little bit so it's like so, and then add that to there, maybe a bit before, something like here, right? And then we can see, and we can come to animation, put it 0.3.
Argentina is today.
Okay, maybe a bit further back.
Is today.
Yeah, just like so.
Argentina's today.
Just like this.
Argentina's today.
Perfect.
Is today highest inflated currency.
And then obviously from here, once it's like coming fully, is we can add the speed up. So if we do something like this.
Today highest inflated currency. Today highest.
And then we need to actually increase the speed a lot more. So if we do this.
Today highest Argentina's today high.
And then obviously we come back to animation.
Today
On 0.3.
Argentina's today. Argentina's today highest inflated currency. Today highest inflated.
Okay, we definitely want the speed a bit less than that. So if we come to like 4.2.
Today highest inflated currency in the world.
Okay, so we definitely want to. Maybe the speed needs to be on like 2.
Today highest inflated currency in the world.
And then with the animation, go back to 0.3.
Today is today highest inflated currency in the world. Today highest inflated currency. Today highest inflated currency in the world.
And then right here, so what we're gonna do, so as soon as it gets to like here, is we're gonna add a position, and then we're gonna go forward, just like so, and then we can follow the line. So make sure it's in the center. Just do it till the end of the clip, just to be 100% sure. You know? So just like so.
Today highest inflated currency in the world.
Perfect.
Today highest inflated currency in the world.
And then what we're gonna do is right here.
In the world.
So that's perfect, and right here it slows down already.
Currency in the world completely destroyed by. Today highest inflated currency in the world.
Perfect.
Argentina's today highest inflated currency in.
And then what we can actually do, if you want it to like start earlier, is we're actually just gonna move all these right here. So if we just copy this one, and like if we paste it somewhere over here, so let's just paste the keyframe like here, by holding control and pressing V, and then we can get rid of this start part, just like so.
Today high.
And then just
Today
just like so. Maybe we can actually keep that instead of that sliding in right. I feel like the fading looks
Argentina's
better.
today highest inflated.
Yeah, perfect.
Argentina's today highest inflated currency in the world. Today high.
And then right here, just so we can keep it in the center at all times. Perfect, it technically is.
Today highest inflated currency.
But it starts a little bit too early, so. So we come right here and we just add that to the center.
Highest inflated.
And then I think it's like right here where it's off center a little bit. Perfect, that's in center. Yeah, so we'll see how that looks.
Today highest inflated currency in the world.
Perfect.
Highest inflated currency in the world.
And then right there where it says world, that's where we will split. Well, we'll do this and then we'll split.
The world currency in the world. Highest inflated currency in the world. Completely destroyed.
A little bit less.
In the world.
A little bit less.
Currency in the world completely destroyed by.
Perfect, just like so.
Well, Argentina is today highest inflated currency in the world.
And then we can have something like highest inflated currency. So what we'll do, we'll add a cash explosion as well.
Today.
Right, just before it says highest, and then what we can do is we can bring that up fully.
Highest inflated.
And then bring this to like 30%, and then we can see how that looks.
Today highest inflated currency in the world.
Perfect, just like so.
Highest.
And then what we can actually do is bring the speed down just slightly.
Highest inflated currency in the world.
Perfect.
Is today highest inflated currency in the world.
And as soon as it ends there, we just need a little fade out on the animation. So if we come to animation out,
The world.
0.2 again, and then same with this one right here. Animation out, fade out.
The world.
0.2, just like
Today
so.
highest inflated currency in the world. Is today highest inflated currency in the world.
Perfect. And then now we just need to add some sort of text. So this part is super simple because we want to leave this part super simple, then we want to get more advanced at this part. So yeah.
If you look at what Argentina is today, highest inflated.
So if we look at, so what we can have here is just normal captions. And then what we'll also do is if we copy this and then we paste it right here as well, just like so, we'll add it like here. We'll put this one, in fact, just behind him. So to do this, what we will do is as soon as it gets to like here, we'll split it, this part right here, and then what we'll do is we will copy, and then we'll split it right here also. Then we'll copy this and we'll paste just like so, yeah, here, and then we'll come to cut out, and then we'll do the exact same, but for this one we'll just auto cut out like so. And then yeah, there we go.
If you look at what Argentina, if you look,
and then right here, just for this part, we will actually we'll fade this complete thing out here. So if we come to video and then come to basic, opacity, bring that down to like 0, just like so.
Country. If you look at what country,
and then right here is what you can actually do is zoom this back slightly, just like so. Oh wait, that does not work. So we're gonna have an animation in instead, just to make it like a little bit better. So if we have like a zoom, yeah, something.
If you look at what, if you look at what,
that is the background. So we're after.
if you look at what,
so we put it
if you look at, if you look,
0.2, same with this one.
if you look,
0.2.
if you look at what country, if you look at what
Perfect, just like so.
country, if you look at what country.
And right there, it kind of glitches out with this because it fades out. But let's see if that's not
World country. If you look at world country.
Yes, it is. So what we're gonna do, if we come to this one, comes animation out, and then instead we're gonna come to video. If it ever glitches out, you can use opacity instead of a fade out. Add it right here where it begins. Come to 1 before the end, and then just add like to 70 or something. Just like, oh, maybe 80. And then yeah, so now
Country. If you look,
perfect, and it just kind of like fades out with it, and then boom.
world country. If you look,
and then right here we do need this to also come in with it. So if we come to animation in,
if you look at what,
add this on
if you look,
0.2, and it should look like
country.
this now.
If you look at what
Perfect.
country. If you look at what Argentina is today, high.
That looks good to me. And then as it gets into this part right here, so right there, if we split this, and then right here we can animation out, and then we can actually use a fade out.
Today,
0.8 to 0.3. Let's see.
Argentina's today, Argentina's today highest inflated
Perfect.
country.
So.
If you look at what Argentina is today, highest inflated currency in the highest.
And then what we're gonna do just to clear things up and make it a little bit easier is add auto captions now. So once we add these auto captions, it's gonna look much better. Okay, perfect. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna delete these two right here.
If you look at what Argentina is today, highest.
Add this one before.
Highest.
Perfect.
Highest inflated currency in the world.
So right here we're gonna get rid of this part and have in the world on this part, and then we'll get rid of in the world on this part. Perfect. And then with this currency we're gonna go back 1 space and then press enter so it comes underneath it. And now we need to sort out the text. So for the text, we definitely need some good text, so I'm gonna try and use a free font as well, just so you guys can like use the same fonts and stuff. So let's keep looking. I do like the capital letter font. I'm not too sure what this looks like. Okay, that's horrible. Yeah, we'll add this one right here, and we'll also make it bold as well. We'll have it right in the, just a bit under the center, like so. And then what we can do is we're going to copy this right here, then we're going to paste it, and then we're going to get rid of, on the copied one, the top part, and then on the first original one we're going to get rid of the bottom part, just like so. And then if we come here, highest inflated currency, just like so. Okay, definitely don't do that yet. Just make sure you select apply to all captions off, but first what we're going to do is actually add a shadow really quickly. So we do this, do the same settings we do every time, and then we're going to uncheck this, and then we can make this bigger. And if it ever glitches out like so, you can just increase both sides slightly. Yes, just like this, and then bring it slightly down, just like so. Perfect. Maybe a little bit more, just like so. Yeah. And then for currency, we're gonna go for something like red. Yeah. Highest inflated currency, and then we're gonna add a red glow to it as well, just like so. The free version, 25. This one we're gonna add to like 30, maybe a bit less on this one because it's red usually isn't the best for the glows. Yeah, so we'll add it on 15, and we can see how that looks as well. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. That looks pretty good. And then right here, we're going to do the same thing, add the white glow instead. And then for this one, just move this 25 and 38, just like so. As you can see, perfect. And then as you can see with this, it's not actually in the center. So if we just bring it over slightly, just again, just like so, perfect.
Today, highest inflated.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to add an animation on this. And now we need like a word for word type of thing, so I believe you can do this. Yes, bouncing. Or something like this. That looks pretty clean. Highest inflated.
Highest inflated.
Perfect, just like so. And then right here will come a couple keyframes. That's three, I believe. Yep, 3 before, and then we come to animation on this, and then we can just pop it.
Current.
Definitely not a pop up.
Current.
Maybe ink print.
Current.
Nope.
Bouncing. Current.
Definitely not.
Current.
Okay, definitely not that either. But yeah, just look for a smooth animation. I think with this one, I might just
current.
Slide up again, and then put this on point 3. Perfect. And now we have this.
Highest inflated currency in the world.
Perfect.
In the world.
And then for this one right here, we're gonna go to animation. On the in animation, we want it to bounce
in the world.
Now this is a pro version one. A lot of you people do say that you can't get CapCut Pro for some weird reason, so I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it. Now I'm not sure if this works in every country, apparently it doesn't, but all I did is I pay for a membership on CapCut on my mobile, and then so every month it comes out my balance, and then from there I'd log in the exact same account that I paid for the CapCut membership on my phone, then I log in on PC, and then I've still got the Pro version. So this is just basically how I do it, and it works every time. But anyway, if we see this, make sure it's all perfect.
In the world.
Yep, that looks good to me. And then if we come back to basic, we come to glow, we need to add the white glow on it again. Bring this to 25, bring this to 38. Okay, perfect. Now let's take a look at it.
Highest inflated currency in the world.
And now we do need to actually bring this back to
in the world.
Maybe
in the world.
Yep, just like so.
Currency in the world. Currency in the world. World.
And then this needs to come a bit more, just like so.
In the world, completely.
Right here, because this is where it says completely, and then this is where this text will stop, just like so.
Currency in the world, completely destroyed by socialism.
Perfect. And then right here, just to get this part done, we are going to switch this font. So now to switch this font, I think we can have something super simple. Yeah, just like something like this font, I guess. And what we can do is have it big enough, and then we need to split the font. So
if you look at
what Argentina, so I'll split it here maybe.
Today.
So maybe like there.
Today.
Perfect. So if you look at, just like so, if you look at what Argentina is today. And then, as you can see, super easy.
If you look at what Argentina is today,
Right here, we're just going to add like a blue effect, like a blue colour, a light blue. Just to kind of represent like Argentina a bit, you know? Maybe a bit more blue, just like so, yep.
look at what Argentina is today. Highest. Look at what Argentina is today.
And then for these three, we're just going to highlight them simply. And we're going to go to animation, and then we're just going to add like a typing effect.
If you look at
Yeah, just like so.
what Argentina is today.
Perfect.
If you look at what Argentina.
And then for the first one, we're going to actually decrease this to 0.1.
If you look at
Third world country. I'm not too sure why this is doing that actually. That is very strange. So, if it ever glitches out like this, all you have to do is, for some weird reason. Oh, I know why. That's why. Perfect. It's because it added the auto captions again. So yeah, I forgot to delete that. So let's see how this is looking so far anyway.
came from Argentina. I grew up in Argentina, third world country. If you
Hold on, give me a sec.
Argentina, third world country. If you look at what Argentina is today, highest inflated currency in the world, completely.
And now let's move on to this part. So right here, as you can see, it fades it. So we're gonna have the opacity on 100, just like so.
Currency in the world, completely destroyed.
Perfect. And then for this text for now, we're just gonna fix it. So
Completely destroyed by.
completely destroyed.
Completely destroyed.
Right here, completely destroyed. Oh, okay, wrong part. There we go, completely destroyed.
By socialism.
Socialism. So by socialism. And then this part can be and corruption. Just like so.
World completely
Then we can obviously decrease this, put it in the center.
destroyed by socialism and.
Okay, so now for this part, this is where we're gonna start adding some stuff. So.
World completely.
And then we can go back a keyframe.
Complete.
And then we can add an animation in on this one right here. So we can have probably like a zoom in
Completely. Complete.
on 0.2.
World completely destroyed by.
Perfect. And then from here this is where we're going to add some overlays. So let me add these really quickly. Now I'm not too sure what all these are, so I'm just going to add them all, because why not? I mean, some of them was from this morning, which I didn't want. And then right here is we're going to do the trick. So I'm going to drag this in, and then just like here, so if we first just begin to do this, so completely destroyed by this. So if we add a fist here, now we just need to animation in, and then like a slide up. So
Completely. Completely.
0.4. And now we're gonna copy and paste multiple of these. So paste. I think 5 will do. And then if we come just forward, just so we can move them all, so we'll have one here. And now what we're gonna do with this one, because it's on this side, is we're gonna right click it. We're gonna obviously bring it to like this, right click, edit, and then we're gonna mirror the effects, and then just bring it so it's equally, just like that. And then right here is we're gonna add another one here, just like so. Maybe we only need to use 4, but yes, I believe we only do, so that's pretty good. Mirror this effect as well, just like so. And then this last one we can delete.
Completely destroyed.
And then for all these, I believe we can just highlight them all. Then if we come to filters and then we search in red, do we add in this red filter? Okay, we've got to do it individually, which is perfectly fine. Strength, yeah, we can leave on 100. So perfect, and perfect. Okay, perfect.
World completely destroyed by.
Maybe if it's a little bit too red, you can just simply bring the strength down. I think we'll bring it down to 90 on them all. Yep. just like so. Perfect.
Completely destroyed.
And then right here, we're going to copy this freeze part again. So we're going to copy this, and then just as it starts, we're going to paste it in.
Completely destroyed.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to add this behind all these people's arms, just like so.
Completely destroyed.
And then what we can do is we can just drag it up a little bit by coming to mask. And we just bring it up slightly, just like so, like here.
World completely destroyed.
Perfect. And then right here as well.
Completely destroyed.
And then right where it says destroyed, so like here, then we're going to add in this pointing finger. This one's the wrong one, hold on a sec. Add the transparent one, of course. And then what we're going to do with this before we do anything is we're going to bring it behind everything. So just like so. And we're going to bring that there. Completely destroyed. And this one will also slide up, so if we just make this one just like so, and we can actually tilt it just so it's like that. Maybe make it a little bit bigger if we come back, just a little bit bigger. Perfect. And now from here we're going to call animation and slide up again.
By social. By.
And then right here we can add by socialism there.
Completely destroyed by socialism.
Perfect. And then we can add an animation on this as well. We're gonna have
By social. By.
And then by socialism, if we come to text, and then we are going to add a red color on this. By socialism, and then if we add the red glow as well, we'll add this one to 20, and then this one to 30. By socialism, we can make this a little bit bigger. Just like so, and then maybe we can test a background around it. Now, what color background could we use? Yeah, probably black. So if we come to here, come to the rectangle bit, do this, bring the height just slightly down, then we bring the offset just slightly up. We can see how that looks. So it needs to go up slightly, a little bit more to like maybe 52. Yeah, perfect. Then we can see how that
Destroyed by social. Destroyed by.
And then right here, what we can actually do is we can do something nice and fancy. So if we actually bring this like here, so as soon as this comes up right there, we'll do it a little bit more. So what we're going to do, come back to basic on this part of the text. We're going to add a scale part and a position part just in case, and then come right to the end just as it comes up and drag this to something like here.
Completely destroyed by social. Completely destroyed by socialism.
And then we need a little animation out on it. So if we have a fade out.
Destroyed by socialism.
And then right here, if we bring this up, we can drag this in like here.
Destroyed by social.
And then maybe we need to put this on point two.
Completely destroyed by socialism.
Just like
World
that, yeah.
completely destroyed by socialism. Destroyed by.
Completely destroyed by socialism.
Completely destroyed in the world. Completely destroyed by socialism.
Yeah, just like so. And then what we can do with all these is, with these ones, we can highlight them all. Then we can right click and then we can create compound clip, just like so.
Completely destroyed by socialism. Completely destroyed by socialism.
Perfect. I think this will do. Just something that looks nice and clean. And as this socialism stuff comes in, we can definitely figure out something.
Completely destroyed by socialism. Completely destroyed by.
Now the only problem is it's a bit too much. So if we do it
Destroyed by social.
yeah,
Destroyed by socialism.
a little bit more, just like
Destroyed by social.
yeah, perfect.
Destroyed by social.
That looks a lot smoother already.
Destroyed by socialism.
If we drag this out just a little
Destroyed by so.
a bit less.
Destroyed by social. Destroyed by socialism and.
Perfect. Okay, so this is what we have so far.
Today, highest inflated currency in the world, completely destroyed by socialism.
Okay, maybe a little bit less actually. We just need to get this part perfect.
Destroyed by social.
There we go.
Destroyed by socialism. Completely destroyed by socialism.
And then right here is where we can split everything. Boom, boom, boom. Just like so. Okay, we didn't compound clip this one, so what we have to do now is drag this one above here, just like so, and then we have to uncompound this now.
Completely.
And then right here we have to highlight them all, right click, create compound clip, and then come to the end here, split it, and then delete this part. Now this
Completely destroyed by socialism. Completely destroyed by socialism. And
so right here, if you still have this, just yeah, definitely keep it, because we're going to use that for a transition. So
completely destroyed by social. Completely destroyed. Completely destroyed by. Completely destroyed by.
and then right here we do need some like effects. So what we can do is I'm going to quickly drag in a smoke effect. So I'll be with you guys in a sec once I've dragged it in here.
Completely destroyed. Completely destroyed by socialism. World completely destroyed. Completely. Completely. Complete. Completely. Completely destroyed by socialism. World completely destroyed by socialism. Completely destroyed by socialism and corruption. In the world, completely destroyed by socialism. Destroyed by socialism. And by social. By social. By social. By social. Destroyed by social. Destroyed by socialism. Destroyed by socialism. Destroyed by socialism. Destroyed by socialism. Destroyed by. Destroyed by socialism. Destroyed by. Destroyed by social. Destroyed by socialism. Destroyed by socialism and corruption. Socialism. 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 Socialism and destroyed by socialism and socialism. Completely destroyed by socialism and world completely destroyed by socialism and
Okay guys, so for this next part, we're basically just going to add something very easy and very clean. So now we're going to add this background right here. We're gonna add it right here, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna decrease the opacity down to around 60%. I think will look good. Yeah, 60%. And then what we'll do with the background just before we do anything is we'll bring it above here. So as this fades out, it fades into this. So bring this a bit further back, and then we come to animation. Then we come to in, and then we want to fade in.
And
Put this on 0.2. You can see how that looks, just like so.
and corruption.
And then right here we're gonna add the keyframe, so scale and position.
And corruption at the age of 6.
And then right here we're gonna go 2 keyframes forward, in fact 3, and then we'll split this here. And then we'll come 1 keyframe behind, and then we'll just have this zooming in just like so. And then we'll come back to here. Then we're gonna add the president of Argentina because he's talking about corruption in Argentina. And then what we'll do is we'll bring this smaller, just like so. And then with this text we'll bring it just above, like here. We'll make him a little bit bigger as well, just like so. And then what we're going to do to this background, well, we're going to split it here actually, right at the end. And then with this background right here is we're going to add a blur effect. So if we come to effects, and then we come to favorites, because I've added it on my favorite, it's just this blur right here, as you can see. And then we'll bring this down to like 5, maybe 4. Yeah, 4. And then right here we'll have this sliding up. And then we'll bring this forward just slightly, just like so.
And corruption.
Perfect. And then end it right here.
And corruption. And corruption.
Perfect. And then what else? I'm gonna add another overlay right here as well, just so he's talking about corruption. So I'm gonna add an overlay. So give me a quick second, guys, to find one. Okay, so now for this part is we've got these 2 overlays that we found. So if we bring this right here, then we're going to put this behind him just like so. And then we're going to make this slightly smaller. And then what we can actually do is we're going to bring this to like here, just like so. And then we're going to also, what we're going to do with this is we're going to slide it to the right, just like so. And then we're going to put this on point A. Yep, just like this. And then on this side, we'll do the exact same. Then what we'll do is we'll put this behind him. Just like so. And then we'll come to animation on this as well. And then we're going to slide that from the left on 0.8.
And
just like so. And then with these 2, what we can actually do as well is we're going to add the blur effect to both of these overlays. And bring the blur to like 4 as well. Same with this one. Just like so.
And corruption. And corruption.
And then right here we're going to add a mask to his face. So another way to do this as well is you can come to media, you can come to library, come to the white image right here. Well, and then what you're going to do is once it's in, because it's actually a video, is you're going to right click, and then you're going to come to edit, and then you're going to press freeze. Now you got the freeze layer, delete the other 2 video layers, and right here just drag it out to the end. And then if we come to mask, mirror, make it super small just so it fits over his eyes. If we mask this again right here, just like so. And then what we can actually do is make it smaller, and then come back to mask, and then you can actually just increase the size. Like so. And then right here we're going to go to effects for this part to change the colour, then we're going to add red, just like so. Perfect. And yeah, so this is what we have so far. We actually need to add an animation on this so it is slide up. And then we'll put this on 0.6, 0.5. And then what we're going to do with this is just bring it up slightly. So we're going to zoom in a little bit just so we can get this perfect. Zoom in a little bit more. Yep, just like so.
And corruption.
And then right here, what we're going to do is we're also going to add an effect right here. So if we come to hit the president right here, and then if we come to adjustments, we come to saturation, bring that down to -35. And then from here, we're going to come to video effects. This is also my favorite, blue mosaic again. And then for filters, we could bring to like maybe 15, the size. Can bring to like 20, and then the filter we can texture we can bring to like 20 as well, and then let's see how that looks. Yeah, so this looks pretty good. So now we have this
by socialism and corruption.
Perfect.
Corruption at the
And then right here is we will also split these these three layers, sorry. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. And then from here, what we are going to, so I'm going to explain what I did with this. I just added a background and the red color, and I split these two text together, well, I mean apart, sorry, and then I added the black background right here, just right here, and now we're going to add an animation into this, so we can see how it looks. Okay, this is out, we don't want that. We do need like a decent animation, so we can test some animations, maybe
corruption. Corruption.
Yep. 0.2, and we can see how that looks.
And corruption.
Okay, definitely not that animation. We're gonna perhaps add a slide up, put it on 0.3.
And corruption.
And then with this one, we're gonna add like this.
And
yep, just like so.
And corruption. And corruption.
And then drag this out to the end. And then with these, we need to now add an animation out. So what we can do is we can put these two together, right click, and then we can create a compound clip just like so, and then we come to animation out on this. We will fade it out again on 0.2. And then right here, if it does this and comes back in front, you can just come back to basic, back to layer, and then put it behind just like so. And so as you can see, we have something very simple right here. It would be better if this guy had a head, which obviously you can add a head here, but just for the sake of this video, we're not going to add anything right there. So as you can see,
and corruption at the,
and then right here is we're going to do the same. So animation out, fade out 0.2, and then same with this guy right here, 0.2, and then same with this video overlay right here. Drag this keyframe to the end if you haven't already done so, and then obviously we put 0.2 fade out, so now we have this.
Destroyed by socialism and...
Let me play that back.
Destroyed by socialism and corruption at the age of 16.
Okay, perfect. So let's get into the next part. Okay guys, so now I just quickly had to get some more assets, as you guys can see, just to create this. So now he's talking about the age of 16, so I did make some splits. So what I did, because he was basically repeating, talking about the American dream, so what you want to do with content, especially short form, you want it to be fast and simple. So usually when, let's say, a podcast clips, like any podcast clip, they're repeating the same words, you just want to kind of cut them out, which I've just done right here.
At the age of 16 with $200 in a suitcase.
So yeah, now what we're going to do is we're going to add Luke Belmar in, because he's talking about at the age of 16. And then what we'll do with this text is we'll just split this text. So
at the age of
hold on.
At the age of 16 with $200.
And then what we're going to do, we're going to get rid of this. At the age
of 16.
At the age of
the age of,
and then 16, so we'll do 1.6. Perfect.
The age of,
at the age of 16. And then with this picture is what we can actually do is if we come to basic, maybe we'll rotate it a little bit like this way, just like so, increase the size a little bit. Just like this, I think will look good. And then what we're going to do with this is we're going to add this as it's fading out, just so the transitions always look good. Perfect. And then with this, we'll slide this up. So if we come to animation in, we come to the slide up. And then put it on 0.3.
So at the age of 16.
And then we'll bring this back to like, yeah, right there.
So at the age of 16. So at the age of
and then bring this up a little bit.
At the age of
A little bit more.
6.
Perfect. And then what we'll do, we'll bring this
Set the
back.
set the
And then we'll animation fade this in or something. Or type
set the
this
age
in. We'll definitely fade it in instead.
set the age of set the age of 16 with set the age of 16 with
Perfect.
6.
And then for 16, we'll keep this. We'll drag that out just a little bit. And then what we'll do with this.
16.
Perfect.
16.
We'll add this, which is the inhale. This is a pro version. Now I recommend just using like bounce in or something if you've not got CapCut Pro, because a lot of people have issues, and I personally do not know how to fix these issues if you can't get CapCut Pro. I'm not too sure honestly, because for me it works perfectly fine. So, but yeah.
Set the age of 16 with $200 in a suit. Age of 16 with
Right here we can get rid of. In fact, we can keep 16 for now.
$200 in a suitcase. Came to the United.
And then right here we'll split it where it's talking about, and he came to the United States.
At the age of 16 with $200 in a suitcase. At the age of 16.
Alright, so what we're going to do for this right here, so as you can see, we'll add this as the background as well, so we'll bring that
At the age of
and what we'll do with this is we will put this behind him, but we'll put it like here on his face. We'll see how that looks. We'll obviously decrease the size as well.
16 with
Perfect, just like so. I think this will look clean.
at the age of 16.
And then obviously we'll want this to also slide up.
At the age of
just like so.
At the age of at the age of 16.
And then what we'll do, we'll add this to like 0.6.
At the age of corruption. At the age of 16. Corruption. At the age of 16 with $200 in a suitcase. 16 with.
And when he's talking about width, we can split that right here.
16 with.
Right there.
With
and then we can have this sliding down on animation out. So if we find slide down.
16 with 2. With 2.
Perfect, just like so.
At the age of 16 with $200.
And then right as it's sliding down, so when it gets to about here, we can then bring this in. And then we need to customize the suitcase. So from here, what we'll do also is as this is going down, we'll bring this down as well. So by this we'll have to use keyframes. So if we start right here, scale and position, and then right at the end of it, right here we can bring this down to like here. Perfect.
16 with $200.
And then what we're going to do, just to make this look a bit smoother, if we right click on it here, then we come to show keyframe animation, and then we want it on the X scale. I believe it's the X scale. Okay, it's definitely the scale. Okay, so right here, if we right click, sorry, not right click, if we just how do I do this again? I think we have to press on this, right click, and then come to graphs, and then we'll ease it in. And then right in the end one is we'll right click on this, come to graphs, and then we'll press this one right here. We'll see what works best actually.
16 with $200.
Now this one doesn't look the best, so we'll have this.
With two.
Yeah, something like that. I think that'll look good.
So at the age of 16 with $200.
Something like this, and then we'll hide the keyframe animation.
So at the age of 16 with $200. Age of 16 with $200. 16 with.
And then right here, so we want it to fade out right here. So we add opacity right there, go one forward, and then boom, just like so.
So at the age of 16 with $200.
Perfect.
So at the age of 16 with $200 in a suitcase. So at the age of 16 with.
And then right here is we'll slide this down. So if,
with $200. With $200. With $200. With $200.
Perfect. And then also now we can customize this. So if we add this, we rotate it round, and then just like this. And then if we copy this again and then we paste it right here, we bring it up just so it's next to each other, the money, just like so. And all you want to do from here is bring that to like here. something like this. Maybe bring it a bit more up, same with this part, and just a little bit more up. Just like so. In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to bring this a bit more to the edge, bring this a bit smaller, put this like right here. And then what we'll do, we'll see the scale on this, so it's 32%, and we'll put this one to 32 as well. And then we'll put that right there, and then we can add the passport thing as well. And decrease the size, bring it something like this, and then we can put this behind the money, just so it's like this. Perfect. And then what we're going to do with all of these, so if we come to here, we come to mask, and then we come to horizontal. Then if we come just like this, we come to the bottom of the money right here, and then we'll add the feather in on like 4, and we'll do the same with this, horizontal, wind it around this way, just like so. Might be able to come down just a tad more, and then we'll bring this to about 5, and we'll see
16 with $200.
So as you can see, it kind of fades in, especially if it's full screen. You guys can see it looks like it's in the suitcase, literally. And then from here, with the passport thing, I think we can keep that. So what we're going to do now is we want to drag all these three, right click and create compound clip, and then we want this to slide down the exact same time,
With 200.
just like this. And then what we're going to do with these two is if we highlight them both, we'll come to here, we'll highlight them both, and then we'll just drag this down like here,
16 with 200.
just like that, and that'll look good.
16 with $200 in a suitcase. At the age of 16 with $200 in a suitcase.
Okay, perfect.
With $200 in a suitcase.
And then what we can do is if we come to the effects, and then we come to play pendulum, we add it right here, twist 0, strength 5, sharpen 40, and speed like 100 or something.
16 with $200 in a suitcase.
Okay, definitely not. We'll bring the strength down to 2.
$200 in a suitcase came to
like here.
With $200 in a suitcase.
Just so it looks like so it's kind of moving. And then what we can actually do with this is we can just bring this like right there, and that'll look much better. Maybe we can decrease the size a little bit. Maybe a little bit more, just so it looks like it's inside the suitcase. Just like so.
16 with $200 in a suitcase. With $16 with $200 in a suitcase.
And then what we want to do for Luke is we want to also add the play pendulum to him. So twist, strength, we'll add that to like 5, sharpen 40, and then the speed 55, and then we can see how that looks.
At the age of 16 with $200 in a suitcase.
Yeah, perfect.
Age of 16 with $200 in a suitcase. So at the age of 16 with $200 in a suitcase.
Perfect. And then right from here is we will have let me go to here, and then what we can do, so now we've added everything that we kind of wanted to add, so this part's going to be kept super simple and super
16 with $200 in a suit. So at the age of 16 with $200.
And then right here,
16 with
right here, we'll split it here because we'll fade it out because we don't want this to go over it or anything. So animation out. Let's find fade out. I believe it's near the bottom, right? Yep.
16 with
perfect.
Age of 16. So at the age of 16 with $200 in a suitcase.
And then right here is what we'll do is we'll just copy this one right here. Then we'll paste it. Then we'll type in $200.
With 200.
And then we'll drag this out.
$200 in a suitcase.
And then obviously split it right there. Same with all of these. Boom. Boom. And then perfect. So now we have something like this.
So at the age of 16 with $200 in a suitcase, came to the United States.
And then right at the end here is we come to animation. Now this is going to slide up. So if we find the slide up animation. In fact, we're going to slide everything to the right.
Suitcase came
and on 0.2.
Suitcase came.
Slide to the right, 0.2. Slide
Suitcase
to the
came,
right,
came
0.2, just like so.
age of 16 with $200 in a suitcase, came to the United States.
Okay, perfect. And then right here is talking about he came to the United States. So if we add this plane right here, and then what we're going to do, we're going to come to cutout, Chrome key, press this, press the white, strength 1, shadow 100, yep.
Came to
And then right here we're just going to use keyframes, so when it comes in, if we then come to basic, scale and position, to the United States, just like so.
came to the United States. Came to the
And then right here we'll just get rid of this text for now.
came to the United States. Came to the United States.
Just like so. And then right here we could potentially add a play pendulum to this as well, just so it's moving slightly more. So if you just look at the settings I'm going to use for this, you guys can see.
Came to the United States. Came to the United States.
And then what we're going to do is strengthen that.
Came to the United States.
So it kind of like curves over, so if we add the strength just a bit more.
Came to the United States.
Perfect.
Came to the United
And then we'll see that full screen to see what
Suitcase
it looks like.
came to the United States.
Yeah, something like this.
Came.
And then right here is we do need a USA flag. So I'm going to quickly get that and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so now we've added this in right here. All we're going to do is we want it to be right about here. And then we're going to come to animation, in, slide right.
Came to the
Bring that a little bit down, just like so.
came to the United came to the United came to the United States.
And then right here, in fact, what we can actually do is if we bring this here, then we put this behind the plane, just like so.
Came to the United States. Came to the United States. Came to the United States.
Just like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add like buildings here. So if we quickly go ahead and we'll take a look at what buildings we have. So give me a second, guys. Okay, perfect. So then we'll add this in right here. And then what we'll do is we'll actually just increase the size a lot more. Just like so. And then what we can do, if we come to animation, and then we'll slide this one up.
Came to the
Just like so.
Came to the Suitcase came to the United States. Came to the United States.
And then what we'll do with this plane is we'll actually just bring it right up, just like so. And then we'll bring it up here as well, and then we can see how that looks.
Suitcase came to the United States. Suitcase came to the United States.
And then right here,
Came.
we'll type in right here, USA. So if we copy this and just paste it for now, so we can type in capital letters USA, and then
Came to the United
USA, bring this down to right about here, bring the size bigger, and then we can just change the color of the text to yellow. Perfect.
Suitcase came to the United States. Came to the
And then right here with this, we're gonna go animation in,
came to the United
and then we'll slide to the right or something. So right here, what we'll do is
Case came to suitcase.
we'll just like this, and then we'll fade this out or something. So if we find
A
fade
suitcase.
out on 0.1,
Suitcase came to the United.
and then right here is we're gonna come to animation. We're gonna try and find like slide right or something, which I believe is near the top. I think it is. It's somewhere at least. So we got slide out. We have. If I can just find slide to the right, then that'll be chilling. So there's slide left. Surely slide right. Am I missing it or something? Oh, this is on animation out. That's why. Slide right. There it is. And then we'll put it on place.
Came to the United.
Just like so.
Case came to the United States.
And then obviously we'll split everything off right here. Just like so.
Dollars in a suitcase came to the United States.
Perfect.
Case came to the United States.
And then what we're gonna do with this building right here is if we actually increase the size like so, and then we're going to come to effects and also add the blur to it. And if we put the blur to like 2 for this building, and then we can add like an edge glow, we can see how that looks to it. We won't add too much glow, maybe like 3, and then we can add one more thing to it. We'll see how this looks on it. It may not look the best, but if we add filter to 15, the size to 20, and then the texture to like 10, and then what we'll do with this blur actually is we will decrease the blur to 1. Yeah, perfect.
$200 in a suitcase, came to the United States.
Just like so.
Age of 16 with $200 in a suitcase, came to the United States, started pressure washing.
And then for all these is we'll start animation out on them. So for this we'll just simply fade it out. So let's do this, and then, in fact what we'll do, since it splits here, is we'll bring this forward just like so, like this, and then we'll come to animation out on each of them. We'll fade them out on like 0.1, and then same with here, fade out 0.1, fade out 0.1. okay,
to the United States, started.
And then if we come to this part right here, and we come to 1, 2, 3, 4 keyframes forward this time. We'll delete this for now, and then we'll come to animation, fade out.
Started pressure.
And right here, we'll drag Luke right here.
Started pressure washing basket.
And then we'll zoom it in just on this part, just a tad, not too much. We'll bring him down a little bit, just like so.
Started pressure washing. Started pressure.
And then we'll zoom this in a bit more, just so it's more noticeable as well.
United States, started pressure washing basketball courts. That was my first job.
Perfect. And then right here is, with this text, we will
started
so right there, and then we can do
started pressure washing. Started
right there, and then for this one we'll get rid of the word started, and then we'll do the same on this one, but keep started.
Pressure washing basket.
So right there it says basketball courts. So pressure washing basketball courts.
Started pressure washing.
Okay, perfect. Then let's see the font for this part right here. So if you look at the font, it is that one. We may already have it saved, so we'll double check. So we'll highlight these 4, sorry, and then we'll add that exact font that we added, which is, I believe it's this one. Yep. And then we'll also highlight these 4 and just decrease the size a little bit, like so.
Started pressure washing.
And then we'll highlight them all one more time, come to animations on them all, and then we'll just do something simple like zoom in. Yeah, just like so.
Started pressure washing.
And then right here, we'll fix this one. We'll put it 0.1.
Started pressure washing basketball courts. That was my first job. Washing basketball courts. That was my first job.
And then right here, we'll keep zooming this in. So if we come to this, and then we'll come to the end right here, and then we'll do this, and then we'll zoom it in, maybe to like 6. Oh, I meant to put 600. 600. Just like so. Then we'll see how that looks.
Pressure washing.
So right here, if it does that, you can just move it. Now you've already selected the position scale.
Basketball courts. That was my first.
And right there is, so that is perfect. So we'll add one there, and then right there, we'll bring this to like here. This is called just like phase tracking with keyframes basically, and then perfect. So we can see how that looks.
Pressure washing basketball courts. That was my first job, and then eventually
perfect, just like so.
Started pressure washing.
And then right here, we're just going to get a pressure washing that comes up, And then for this as well, what we will actually do is, as this is fading out, is if we just right click copy paste it right here, and then we'll come to this, we'll bring it to like 15, we'll drag it down, we'll put it to like here or something, just like so. Then we'll come to mask horizontal like this, just like so. Bring the feather to like 52 or something.
States started pressure washing back.
And then right here we want something to do with pressure washing, so let's go find an overlay for that really quickly. Okay, so now we got the two overlays, so if we come right here, we'll add this in, right, so around about here, just like so. And then what we'll do, we'll add like an edge glow to it, just so it's kind of glowing, if it does glow. Yeah, we'll put this one on max.
Pressure washing.
And then right here is we'll slide this up, so if we want this a little bit back, if we come to in and then we come to slide
Pressure
up,
wash.
put it on 0.3.
Pressure washing.
And then we'll come 1, 2 keyframes forward, we'll split it right there, and then we'll come to animation out on this, and then we'll slide it down.
Washing back.
And then right there is basketball court, so we'll bring it just a little bit before, it like so. We'll drag this down just to here, and then we'll come to animation, and then animation in, slide up.
Basketball.
0.2, and then we'll split
Basketball courts. That was my first job.
And right there, we will then split it. If we come to animation, and then we'll like slide it down.
Job.
0.2. And then this is what we have, something that very, very nice and simple.
States started pressure washing basketball courts. That was my first job. Started pressure wash. Started.
Right here, what we want to do is actually just want to zoom this in to keep it looking smooth. So if we look right here to what this one was, so it's 453. So if we come right here, we type in 452, just like so, and then we'll drag this out to the end. So that's what we have so far.
Started.
And then obviously we'll add right at the beginning. Well, we'll come to the end right here, just like so, and then we'll delete this end keyframe right here, and then we'll drag this one out. So let's see how that looks.
Started pressure.
Okay, this is kind of glitched out, but you know. I believe this. We'll have to bring this a bit more up. I don't know how it glitched out like that, but you know. Bring this a bit down, just like so. And then right at the end from this one, we'll delete that, and then we'll drag that to the end.
Started pressure washing.
Perfect.
Started pressure washing basketball court.
Just like so.
United States started pressure washing basketball courts. That was my.
And then we'll change the color. So started pressure washing, we'll add yellow, and then for basketball courts, we'll add like maybe green. Yeah, something like that.
Started pressure washing basketball courts. That was my first job.
Before it says first, which is right here.
First job.
We'll sort this out. So first job, and then here we'll get rid of the first job part. That was my first job. We'll bring this back to the yellow color, just like so.
Started pressure washing basketball courts. That was my first job.
And then right here, if we come to animation in, we will just fade this
First
in.
job. First courts. That was my first.
And then right here, we'll get rid of this animation out to 0.1.
Washing basketball courts. That was my first job. And then eventually through the years, got into different jobs. Got into different jobs, was exposed to e-commerce. And then eventually through the years.
So right here, we'll split it, because we'll do a bit more splitting, just to keep it very simple for the viewer.
Got into different jobs.
And then right here, was exposed to e-commerce. Boom, just like so. Then we'll drag this one out so it fits it perfectly, and then there we go.
Job. And then eventually. And then
right here, we'll bring this forward slightly, so for this we'll have to zoom in. Just like so.
And then.
Perfect, and then we'll zoom out. We'll drag this just so it fits perfectly. we'll bring this out like so.
And then eventually, and then eventually,
and then we'll bring this one keyframe forward just like so.
And eventually,
one keyframe back. Eventually. And right here it says through the years, so let's sort this out. And then with these three, we'll add the exact same font that we just used. And then we will also bring the font size down to like 7.
And then eventually through the years was and then eventually.
And then right here is we'll add the zoom in again. So we'll do this.
And then eventually through the years,
just like so. We'll come one keyframe behind it. We'll zoom this in a lot, just like so, and then we'll drag this up, maybe a little bit more. We'll drag it up, and now we'll do the keyframe tracking. So right here is perfect, and then right there is head tilt. So we'll add a position there, and then right here we'll drag it just like here, and then again, and then again, and then again. And then right towards the end is we'll drag that to the middle, drag that right to the end, and then this is what we have right now.
And then eventually through the years was.
So we keep this part simple now. It kind of gives the viewer a refresh, so you're not actually throwing so much in the face. I feel like this can be very useful as well, just to keep certain parts of it simple. And then right there, boom, we'll find some overlays for drop shipping and was exposed to making money online. And then he capitalised on the opportunity right at the end. We'll keep that part simple. So yeah, let's find some overlays now. Okay guys, so for this second part, I've added a background, of course, and it's a different background this time, as you guys can see. So let's just add that in on the same layer as the other background, which is right here. So what we're gonna do is
the years was.
Just like here, we're gonna leave this in actually just for now. And then what we can do right here is slightly fade this in, so start this like here.
Was exposed.
Then we come to animation in.
Years was
fade in.
Years was.
And then just a bit like
eventually
so.
Through the years was exposed.
And then just for now, let's first of all fix the text. So
was exposed to.
Split that there, and then get rid of e-commerce. Right there. I believe it's one word, I think. And then let's change the font as well to this.
Was exposed to e-commerce.
Just like so. And then we'll change this font also. Yeah, we'll keep this actually for now. And then we'll increase this a little bit.
Exposed to e-commerce. Exposed to e-commerce. Was exposed to. Was exposed to. And then
to making money
online.
And then one keyframe, maybe 2 forward. We press this back button right here.
Online.
Making money. So we get rid of this part, and then we get just like so, making money online.
Supposed to make.
And then we'll change the font of this one.
Exposed to e-commerce. Was exposed to making money online.
And then if it glitches out like this, just highlight again, re-highlight it. As you can see, it's gone now.
To making money online, and I capitalized.
If we get rid of this part as well, come back to the first one, split. We'll delete this part.
And I capitalized on
the opportunity. Okay. So because he says this fast, we're going to keep this all as one word, just slightly make it smaller. And then right here, if we add this text, just like so.
Online, and I capitalized on the opportunity.
Perfect.
Was exposed to making money on. Was exposed to e-commerce.
And then right here is, I'm now going to add in the overlays. Okay, perfect. So I've got these from Canva, by the way, so you guys can find these on Canva as well. So as you can see, we need to come to cutout, chrome key, select this, strength, maybe like 5, shadows 100, just like so.
Years was exposed to e-com.
And then we'll add this right here, just like so. Make it a little bit smaller. And then we'll add this here as well, chrome key again, strength like 5, shadow 100. And then we'll bring this down. We'll increase the size a little bit, just like so. So we can put that here. And then animation in, which will slide this one up.
Was exposed.
And then we can see
Years was exposed.
And then right here is, we'll slide this one down.
Was exposed.
Just like so.
Years was exposed to e-commerce. Was exposed to.
And then right here is, we'll split them both. Keep this part very simple now, towards the end. And then animation out on this first one. We can slide it back up.
Was exposed.
And 0.3. And then same with this one, which will be slide down instead.
Was exposed.
0.3.
Years was exposed to e-commerce.
And then what we'll do with this, we'll bring it a bit more down. In fact, we'll keep it like this. Maybe bring it a bit smaller, like so.
Was exposed to e-commerce.
Okay, so as he says e-commerce, we don't want this text touching it, so we'll do this.
Was exposed to e-commerce. Was exposed to. Was exposed to. Was exposed to e-commerce. Exposed to e-commerce. Was exposed to making money online.
Perfect. And now he's talking about making money online. So I'm gonna get some more overlays really quickly. First, we'll add this one in. And then we'll decrease the size like so. We'll bring this to like, yeah, here maybe. We bring it a little bit smaller. And then we'll add this like right here. So we'll bring it a bit more down, just like so. And then we'll slide this in to the right.
To making money. To making. Exposed to making money online.
And then I'm going to find another quick overlay, so give me a sec guys so I can add that in. Okay, so now I've got some more overlays, so we're going to finish this part off.
To making money online.
And then right here we're going to go 2 keyframes, 3 keyframes forward for when it starts this part of the clip. Delete it, just like so, and then let's add these in. So I got this from Canva also, this overlay, by typing making money online, which is pretty easy. I think maybe if we add the shadow to like 1, and then we just increase it like so.
To making money online.
And then because it's like not too good, I think this looks cleaner, because if we add the shadows up, as you can see, it kind of looks a bit more rough, so we'll keep it on that for now. And then what we can actually try and do is, we can see if adjustments will do anything, so get rid of, maybe add the brightness up. Okay, definitely not. Bring the brightness down like so. Yeah, we'll keep the brightness like so. Definitely not mess with the contrast or the highlights, the shadow. The shadow can come to like in the minus like 25. We definitely don't want to mess with that. Sharpen, we don't want to mess with that either. Okay, yeah, we'll just leave it like this.
Exposed to making money.
And then right here we can slide this up.
To making money. To making money on. To making.
Perfect.
Exposed to making money online. To making money online.
And then we'll split it here. Just keep the last part very simple. Don't add animation. Fade out on 0.2. Same with this. Fade out on 0.2. Perfect.
Was exposed to making money online.
And then we'll come 1 keyframe forward from here. Delete this. Animation out. Fade out. Like so.
And I capitalized on the opportunity.
Perfect. So when it gets to like here, we are going to go to video basics scale on whirly stalking, and then we'll come to the end. We'll come 1 keyframe back, and then we'll zoom it in fully like so. Increase this up so it's like here, and now we'll fix the keyframe. So we'll come a bit forward. So right here, where his head begins to move. We'll come a couple keyframes forward, bring it into the center kind of. Okay, so right there is a big jump, so right here we'll add this there, and then we'll add that there, a couple more keyframes forward, just like so. Yep, perfect. Now we'll see how this looks.
Through the years, was exposed to e-commerce, was exposed to making money online, and I capitalized on the opportunity.
And then right here where he's talking about making money online, is what we will do is we'll add a money overlay again, so the exact same one, just to keep this video simple for you guys. Full size it, bring it down a little bit, scale up a bit, just like so. See, opacity to like 50.
Making money.
And then we'll put this behind everything, just like so, and then we'll bring this opacity down a little bit more, maybe to like 20.
To making money online.
And then what we can actually do is, if we come to maybe here, color wheel, we can add like a green to it. If we come to offset, we'll add 1. Okay, definitely not. I think we'll try shadows then. Definitely not. Middle, just to see if this works. Yeah, perfect. So it's the middle grey. Perfect.
Money online. Exposed to making money online.
And then what we will actually do as well is, if we come back to basic, video on basic, and then we'll just add this to here, maybe a bit less, like so, and then we'll see where the cache explosion begins. It begins right there. So what we'll do, we'll zoom in and then we'll add it so it starts like here,
Making money.
and then we'll come to mask, we'll come to mirror, and then we'll come to like here, come to feather, we'll add it to like 15 and we'll see how that looks.
Exposed to making money online. Making money online.
Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to increase the size a little bit, just like so.
To making money online. Making money online. And
Perfect.
and I capitalized on the opportunity.
And we'll keep this running as well.
And I capitalized on the opportunity.
Just like so. And then that's basically it. So all we're going to do now is add, I'm not going to add sound effects in this today, because I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory, and it's just super easy to add sound effects. So let me just quickly explain it. So like right here, I'll add a sound effect as this is dashing up, like a whoosh effect right here. Same with any transitions, like here you'd add a whoosh effect and stuff like this. And then obviously right here add another sound effects, sorry, and then right there add a sound effects, and then right there add a money sound effect, and then maybe you can add like a glitch type of effect right here, just to represent this right here, and then obviously add like a smooth whoosh, so not too loud as this comes up. And then yes, so obviously in the preview you would have seen sound effects, so you'll understand it a lot more as well if you re-watch the very beginning of this video too. But yeah, let's add a song, so I'll be back in a sec while I go find a sound choice too. Okay, so for the song, I've gone for this song right here, which you guys can search on YouTube. It's called Hans Zimmer Stay, and it is the slowed plus reverb version. So as you can see, I've just started it off with a fade in on 0.5 and then a fade out on 0.7, so it sounds something like this right here.
Came from Argentina. I grew up in Argentina, third world country. If you look at what Argentina is today, highest inflated currency in the world, completely destroyed by socialism and corruption. So at the age of 16, with $200 in a suitcase, came to the United States, started pressure washing basketball courts. That was my first job. And then eventually through the years, was exposed to e-commerce, was exposed to making money online, and I capitalized on the opportunity.
So the only thing we've not done actually is finished off the text. So for the text, we're gonna put this to yellow, just like so. Also add a glow to it, which will be yellow. Add this 25 and then 38, and then exposed, and then making money right here. We'll add this to green, just like so. Then we'll also add a glow. 25, 38, and then online is we'll have yellow, just like so. And then if we come to the glow right here, we'll add the glow. We'll put this to 25 as well, and we'll put this to 38. And what we'll do is with the age 16, we'll also have this in yellow as well as a glow, just like so, and then $200. We'll add this to green. We talked about money, and then add the glow again. 25, 38, and then boom. Now I think this is basically it. Completely destroyed. We can have this like a red color too, but not too red, so just like this. And then we won't add a glow on this one.
Destroyed by socialism. Destroyed by socialism.
Perfect. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this tutorial. Make sure if you want free assets, go check the link in the description and join the Discord. And make sure you guys subscribe as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.